How to introduce yourself as a life coach. Are you a brand new life coach wondering what to say to potential clients? Do you feel a little tongue-tied when it comes to sharing what you do or even pitching yourself to potential clients? If you want to know what to say now that you're a coach, you're in the right place, because in this video, I'm going to show you how to introduce yourself as a life coach. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things, and look how easy that was. I just introduced myself to you if you're brand new, and so you're probably like, hey, I want to be able to do that pretty seamlessly to people who don't know me. How can I introduce myself if I'm just getting into coaching? And so I know what this feels like. I remember when I was just getting started in my coaching journey, I didn't know what to call myself. I mean, I didn't even feel qualified to be a coach. Really, I felt like I was just a blogger. I guess nowadays we call them content creators. And so it was always very awkward when I was at like dinner parties or introducing myself to people. On one hand, I could talk about, what I did at my real job, my corporate job, in terms of working in the federal government and banking and all of that. But I wanted to kind of get my chops to introduce myself as an entrepreneur. If I believe in myself and I'm away from work, why was I continuing to introduce myself as someone who worked this 9-to-5 job when I knew that ultimately this is what I wanted to do full time? So it took me a really long time, and I kind of fumbled around with really even understanding how to attract clients to me and what to even call myself. So we're gonna go over all of that today in this video. If you're kind of struggling with that and you're like, what do I do? Am I a purpose coach? Am I a life coach? Am I a business coach? What do I even call myself? How do I pitch myself? Have no fear, because we're covering it all right now. Okay, the first thing you need to keep in mind when it comes to introducing yourself as a life coach is that you really have to understand how life coaching works. And I understand why most people don't understand this, because life coaching is a very unique industry, and most people approach it the same way they would any other typical service providing industry, like, being an accountant or even being a fitness trainer or something like that. Those are very straightforward, and it's just like, oh, I'm an accountant and that's all there is to it. But you have to understand that people might seek out an accountant because they have a very specific business need. Okay, I need a certified public accountant who can help me with this. Is only this type of person who can help me manage my money in this way, or at least account for my money in this way. But life coaching is a little different. It's a little more subjective. Again, you don't need a certification in order to do it. There aren't always clear definitions about what you're actually coaching people on. And the key thing to understand is that people aren't necessarily seeking life coaching. So I know that life coaching now has become a more popular term, and you might get some hits on Google, right, if people are typing in how to find a life coach. But when you think back even into like the 80s and 90s, when Tony Robbins was getting his start, it really wasn't because he was promoting life coaching. It was because he was building a brand around personal development. And so the key thing to understand is that the majority of your clients are not going to come to you because they are actively searching for a life coach, right? So the same way that you would actively search for an accountant, or you would actively search for, I don't know, a nanny, or actively search for a video editor or something like that. It's not quite the same way with a life coach. Oftentimes your clients are actively searching just for personal development, and they're searching for personal development around a specific area. So maybe they're searching for personal development around time management. Maybe they're searching for personal development about relationships and they want to fix their marriage. Maybe they are searching for personal development around self-discipline, which I know I was back when I got my start. I actually got my start in life coaching in self-discipline. So if you understand that that's kind of the road that people take when they ultimately hire life coaches, they're searching for personal development in a specific arena, and then typically they stumble on your content, and then they kind of get sucked into your vortex. And after they develop an affinity for what you're talking about, and then an affinity for you, then it's not so much about titles like, oh, this person's a life coach, I want to hire them. It's more, this person represents what I'm looking for. This person can help me solve this problem. I wonder if she is taking clients. I wonder if she has a coaching program. Ooh, I'm going to join. So hopefully that takes some of the pressure off feeling like you have to have this like perfectly polished answer when it comes to, oh, what it is that you do or who are you. Understand the majority of your clients are not going to come because they are typing in a search engine, I'm looking for a life coach, and then you pop up. Typically, honestly, people who are doing the like looking for a life coach thing, honestly aren't looking to pay like genuine prices for life coaching. They're looking for like someone who's gonna charge them $100, $150 for a session. You know, they wanna sit on the phone with you for an hour, get some questions answered about their life, and then they want to be gone. So honestly, even the clients who would find you by typing in how to find a life coach on, you know, Google or via search aren't even your best clients. So hopefully that takes the pressure off. Again, life coaching is different than traditional service providing industries, but even though it's different in that you really want to attract people to your brand, the beauty of that is that you don't have to have a perfectly polished like pitch statement when it comes to introducing yourself and telling people what you do. The second thing that you need to keep in mind when it comes to introducing yourself as a life coach is that you'll want to pivot what you say or pivot the pitch based on the potential client. So if I'm on an airplane and I'm sitting next to somebody, I tailor how I describe myself and what I do based on that person, based on what they have expressed, based on if I think that they're my target market or if I think that they might know my target market. And I say all that to say, you wanna have a few things that you keep in your back pocket that you tell people. If I'm just being honest, typically when I'm talking to men, I keep it less colorful language, you know, oh, you know, I help women find their purpose, and I don't say things like that. I keep it kind of more straight to the point, and I orient it a little more towards business because I find most men are more interested in that. So it's, oh, I help people, particularly women entrepreneurs, develop their personal brands online from scratch, even if they're working a 9-to-5, different things like that. Men tend to perk up about that, and I will say it in such a way that if they are my target market, they immediately know that I'm talking to them, or if they know someone who's in my target market, they can repeat back what I said to that person. So you have to understand that every person that you talk to is potentially connected with up to 150 people. On average, a human network, right? So the average amount of people that humans are in relationship with or connected to at any given time is about 150 people. And so when you're talking to somebody and you are sharing what you do, it's not just what you do for them, but it's also what you do for everyone that they're connected to. So it's really important that you tailor whatever you call yourself or however you introduce yourself in a way that that person can repeat it to other people, even if it's less poetic, right? You might be a life coach and you're really passionate about purpose and you want to say all this like flowery, poetic stuff. Oh, I help people get into their inner selves and pull out. Like, you want to say all that, but when that person is trying to tell, you know, their best friend somebody that they met on the train today, like, it's gonna be difficult for them to relay like who you are and what you actually do. So make sure that you are pivoting the pitch based on the potential client or at least the person that you're talking to. Okay, the third thing that you need to keep in mind when it comes to introducing yourself as a life coach is that you really have to know your niche. I say this all the time. If you've thrown a rock and hit even one of my videos, you know I talk about this constantly when it comes to life coaching. You cannot be out here calling yourself a life coach because you coach people on their life. I know that's like such a misnomer, like, really, Courtney, I'm a life coach, I can't say that. I mean, you can, but it's gonna be very difficult to get clients if you introduce yourself that way, because it's a lot like saying, you know, I have medicine for you. Or you're in pain, I have medicine. It's like, what kind of medicine? Is this Vicodin? Is this aspirin? Like, I don't wanna just take any old medicine. Is very specific to the type of pain that I have, okay? And so it's the same thing with life coaching. Even within life coaching, you wanna know what your niche is within that. You wanna have a narrow niche within that, because then people can say, oh, this is for me, or oh, she can help me with that. And so for me, when I narrowed my niche in the beginning to self-development and specifically to self-discipline, and specifically to self-discipline for ambitious millennial women, like, look how tight and look how narrow that was. It was very easy for me to articulate what I could do to the people that I was talking to because I knew my niche and it was very, very narrow. So if you don't know your niche, you need to find your niche. I actually have a free 5-day challenge that I do called the Nail Your Niche Challenge. You can learn more about that by clicking the link below. Spaces are limited because we limit it because this is typically information that I typically only provide to my paying clients. And I don't even know that it's going to be free by the time that you watch this video, but you can click the link below. If it's not open, you'll be redirected to a wait list, but if it is open, it'll show you how many spots we have left. So if you see any spots, make sure you register. And when you get prompted to upgrade, if you want me to directly give you feedback on your coaching, make sure you upgrade because those spots are even more limited. But either way, whether you join my challenge or not, you gotta make sure that you know your niche. All right, I have more tips where that came from, but first I wanna hear from you. How are you introducing yourself right now? Share in the comments below. Okay, the fourth thing that you want to keep in mind when it comes to introducing yourself as a life coach is you really want to be a content queen or a content king. Having a high volume of content out there really does all the introducing for you. So I love it that I don't even really need to introduce myself to people. I mean, I will just as myself. Hi, I'm Courtney. Oh, I like your hair, or I like your outfit, or whatever. You know, if I'm meeting somebody that I think is cool and we're just kicking it off about things we have in common. Oh, how old is your son? My son is 4, you know, that kind of stuff. But in terms of introducing for business, I don't have to do that as much as you would think because so much of my content really speaks for me. And in fact, I find that people introduce me to their network because they're like, oh my goodness, are you following Courtney Sanders? I follow her on YouTube. I really love her podcast. She's really passionate about helping women get their whole lives together. She can show you how to build a brand, but also how to manage your money and just how to be more powerful as a woman. She's great. You should totally check her out, right? Like people, I'm able to repeat that because those are the things that people say all the time. And I get a lot of word of mouth traffic where literally people will come to me and they'll say, I found you because my coworker at work told me I should start listening to your podcast. Like crazy, right? But I'm able to do that because I am a content queen and I'm very consistent about publishing a lot of content. So if you're really like scared about introducing yourself, again, you're tongue tied about what to call yourself, just simply start creating content around your subject matter, around the things that you're passionate about in your coaching that you ultimately want to help people with, and people will start to get it, right? Because I find, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but I find that the most successful coaches, the most successful personal brands who've really risen in the industry and really risen to the top of their field. And I have a whole video where I talk about that. That's either here or here, somewhere on the video that you can check out about how to become the best in your field. I find that these people have a slight intangible quality to what they offer that you just get. It's hard to put words to it. Like you can explain what they do, but there's some aspect of their brand that you can't really put words to it. It just is something that has to be experienced. And it's that slightly intangible quality that makes them share that brand with other people and makes other people want to be a part of it. So again, the content is going to explain a lot better than you can. People will just get your vibe, right? They'll get your vibe, they'll get your content, they'll just kind of get your gist, and they'll just be like, I like her. She talks about this and she talks about that. Her content's really good. Like you should just follow her, even if they don't have the perfect title for what you do as a life coach. All right, and the fifth thing that you need to keep in mind, kind of following in line with that fourth point, is that you really need to focus on thought leadership. So it's one thing to be a content creator. You're just out here making content. You're just out here doing TikTok videos. I can't even do that stupid floss dance, right? So you're just out here doing that, pointing, you know, making all this stuff. Clearly, I have a bone to pick with TikTok and Instagram. I'm trying to force all of us to make TikToks. That's a side note. But you know, you could just be a content creator, or you can be a thought leader, which transcends being a content creator, in that you actually share unique insights that people can't get anywhere else but from you. And they're like, I don't know how she explained that or how she broke that down, but every time I listen to her podcast, every time I watch one of her videos, every time I read one of her emails, like, I just feel like I learned something totally new. Like my mind is blown. Even when she talks about the things that I've heard before, it's just the way she says it that is just like so amazing. That's thought leadership. When people start to say things like that about you, that means you are rising to the level of thought leadership. And again, it's the same thing that we talked about previously. When you rise to the level of thought leadership, you kind of need no introduction, right? Your content and your insight do all the introducing for you. And so you don't have to put a perfectly packaged label on what it is that you do. You're just at the top of your industry, and everybody knows if you need help with generally X, Y, and Z, you go to this person because they are the top dogs in their field. All right, I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to click the link below in order to secure your spot in my upcoming 5-day Nail Your Niche Challenge. I don't know how many spots are available, so click the link below right now in order to get in. And if you love this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want more where that came from, make sure that you are following me on Instagram. And if you want even more, make sure you subscribe to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.